Whenever a client requested a proposal, we didn't listen to them and presented an offer instead. That got us a 64% close rate on first pass when we were selling our business in B2B for the first time. Today, I'm going to take you through why you should move from giving clients proposals to giving them an offer when they request for one. It's an uncomfortable thing, but everyone can do it as long as you're bold and you understand the difference in the response in that moment of time. Everyone says you should listen to customers. This is one of those moments where you should ignore that request for proposal and lean in and step in and present an offer. And how we're going to do that is we're going to show you what happens when you present a proposal and where you can end up, and what happens when you can present an offer and where you can end up, and also some tips and tricks to keep you safe when you're doing something bold that allows you to still close the deal later. Before we get started though, I'm Tom Moore. I'm the founder of CounterpartOS. We help our clients who are entrepreneurs attract and close their first B2B transformational partnership. I was very lucky in my old business, and I grew my business from 6 to 8 figures in 24 months through B2B partnerships versus raising a lot of venture capital. You can too, because to date, we've generated over 63 million in net new revenue for our customers, and over 80% of them are running a business for the first time. But let's get into it. So how did we get a 64% close rate? The simple answer is, rather than pushing off the decision to when we weren't in the room, we made the decision of yes or no occur when we were in the room, but in a way that was done together, that was significantly compelling and allowed people to be brave. That's how you should approach something when you're selling something transformational. Now, the problem is though, in order to get to that moment, you have to ignore a customer when they say, hey, can you give us a proposal or quote? Now, everyone doesn't want to ignore that customer because they can taste that sale and they can taste the cash that they're about to collect. But you have to. If you want to get 6, 7, or 8-figure deals in B2B, you have to push off the customer's bad behavior or requesting for a quote or proposal. And I'm going to show you right now why you should. So in this moment, we've had a successful qualification. We've had a successful learning moment. We've got belief. They really want to transform. Now they have to do what every business does, which is make a decision. Now, a lot of the time, champions like to make the decision when you're not in the room. But with counterparts, if we've done our work correctly, they're ready to make a decision in the room because they believe in a wider market vision. They've been able to learn some skills so they feel like they can contend with you. And so we should take advantage of that. If you're trying to understand what I'm talking about, that's our trusted advisor framework. You can check it out in another video. But even if you haven't applied our framework, you can still do what I'm about to show you and still overcome it. So what happens is when a client says, we need to see a proposal, generally what's going on is they're saying they need more time to think and they still have some doubts. So if you say, yes, I will get you a proposal, what that's going to come across as is, let's get this right. And that sort of sounds good. Let's make sure this is right for you. But the problem with that is it positions you as saying, you aren't sure. So if you say, let's make sure we get this right, there is also doubt coming on your side with a comment like that. And so if you say, let's get this right, some of their customers that you're talking to that have asked for a proposal can be like, oh yeah, we'd love for you to get this right. But hey, do you have some doubts as well? Now, the problem with that response, if you've agreed to, let's make sure we get this right and write you a proposal, you've also suggested that you're not sure. Tricky. What's generally going to happen is that both parties are then going to naturally go, maybe we need to think about this more. And when you're at this stage and you've qualified the opportunity, you've done your discovery, or you've got shared learning and shared belief and you're following the counterpart process, it's not the right time to create more thinking because people are fatigued. They've probably met with you once, twice, or 3 times, and now you're asking for more thinking space. The problem is with all more thinking space, if you create more thinking space when you don't need it, doubt will eventually win. And so what happens is that you write your proposal, you spend a significant amount of time getting it right. You might even be talking to your champion or counterpart to get it right. But when you fire that email off with the proposal in it, and even if you get on a call to walk through it, it'll still be passed on. The cynics that we haven't been able to get to a form of belief, that we haven't had to address all their doubts, because you fundamentally can't address a cynic's doubts. They're right too often. Although optimists, when they're right, they win way bigger. They win. Because you've now sent a proposal, it's now been forwarded on, it's now customized to their situation. And if you customize something to their situation, although it feels like value, it actually creates more gaps, more spaces for interpretation, and it allows someone like a cynic to say, they just don't know enough about us. See how they got this wrong? Although thoughtful, they don't know enough about us. So we're not ready to really commit yet. We're not really ready to work. So your proposal goes in, could be the best thing you've ever written, could have spent 12 hours on it, could have got a whole team around it. And it's just in there copying strays and frontal hits from people that you don't know about. And a lot of the time your champion or counterpart won't tell you because they know how much work you've put into it. And so what ends up happening when we submit a proposal is we almost always end up in an end state of people wanting more proof. We need more proof. Let's try it out. We've got doubts. We've spent so much time with you. We know you're onto something, but we need more proof before you commit. And that's where you end up in a proof of concept or a pilot, which is going to be significantly less money, even though you've probably spent a significant amount of hours writing this proposal out. That absolutely sucks. And at one point we were almost out of money and we just stopped listening to the, can you send a proposal? Can you send a quote? Can you scope this for us? Because what happens when you create this thinking space is you allow the cynics to have space to move, which there always will be in bureaucracies. You won't be able to spot them. They may not always declare. And people will always want more proof. And it all comes back from you saying, yes, we'll get you a proposal. We want to get this right. And fundamentally, when you do say that, you're also saying that you're not certain, which is the same as saying you're not sure. So one day we were running out of money, one of the times. We had about 30 days left of cash, and we said, look, we're not going to adhere to this proposal. We're just going to tell everyone how much it's going to cost to work with us. Now, at the time, we didn't realize that was an offer. We just put a line in the set and said, if we don't make this amount of money, we're going to lose. So we built an offer that just doubled that amount of money, and it ended up being 1.5 million. At the time, as we developed it, we realized we had a very compelling, irresistible offer. That was where we all started before we built a deeper partnership. And over time, that's all we would say. This is the one offer that's been the most successful if you want to transform. So why does an offer work and where does it lead to? The great thing about an offer when someone says, hey, can you send us a proposal? You can go, we can send you a proposal. But we find that clients that are looking at a proposal haven't really committed yet to the transformation or the change. Do you really want this dream outcome now? Are you ready to commit? If they say, yes, we actually are, don't let the space of the meeting and their behavior of normally getting a proposal from a new vendor to detract you from stronger and more sophisticated positioning. Now, this is fundamentally uncomfortable, which is why most people don't do it, and it's why most people miss the goal. But if you say, look, we have an offer for clients that want that transformation, and this is our most sought after offer because it lands on this dream outcome X amount of time, or it guarantees this outcome for our client if you haven't got that X amount of time yet, fundamentally people go, oh, let's hear it, versus let's think it through. Much better situation to be in. So when you say, hey, this is our offer, we can close a 7-figure distribution deal in 16 weeks with you, we are fundamentally saying we know what it takes versus let's get this right. When someone's seeking a new change or a big change, if you know what it takes to help them change, it presents you in a way that's sophisticated, it provides safety, and it provides a real certainty that people can latch onto that may just be holding on to a little bit of doubt. You saying we know what it takes comes from you positioning an offer. Here is our offer for people that want this dream outcome. Do you want to hear it? Great. Here it is again. All of a sudden, we're saying we know what it takes, either based on past experience or our expertise if you're new and you're locking in a guarantee. The second thing it does is it takes people from saying we aren't sure on both sides. For one side to say we are sure, you making the offer, and for them to accept it, and then all of a sudden we go from a place of we aren't sure to we are certain. All of a sudden, together now as two parties, we are saying we are certain. We are both ready for the change, and we lower the biggest risk that happens in B2B new stuff, which is we had a new vendor, we tried a really bold thing, and it didn't work out. We do not want to get our counterparts fired, and so if we just get to a moment where we're both certain, we're drastically lowering the risk of the political environment by focusing in on allowing the optimists to win and doing it with rigor and doing it with conviction, which is a much better place to be than allowing them post the meeting to talk about it, think about it more, create more doubt, create more space. That's where the cynic thrives. And they do exist in every bureaucracy. You can't ignore them. Fundamentally, when we do present an offer, we don't create a thinking space, we create a decision space. Would you like to take up that offer? Yes. Is it the right time to execute on it? Yes. Great. We've got the yes. All of a sudden, yes, we're not in any territory where we need to think. It needs more decision. It needs more scope. We've agreed that we are certain. We agree we know what it takes, and we've been able to make a decision. Now, a customer at this stage might also say no. And I'll get to you in a second how you can deal with that with two simple things that can make you more compelling and keep you in the game. But before I do, by having a decision on a bold transformation, you lower the risk of the actual transformation happening significantly. I couldn't put a number on it, but I would say it'd be more than 50% of actually getting the dream outcome probably comes from getting a dysfunctional bureaucratic group from where the cynics generally win to optimists committing to a dream outcomes and doing it with you. Awesome. So we've now allowed the optimists to win, and they rarely win. So now we're in a real defining moment where people will commit to investing versus wanting to see more proof and dialing down the amount of money they spend with you first time around. What it also does too, because the optimists started this process with you, they started the process with a new vendor that had the unfair advantage, that had a different take, that was the smaller business that they could choke. It is much more suited to get a commitment versus seek more proof, because we've probably put way more time into dealing with you as a young startup or a young B2B business than a huge major vendor that's failing them or can't come up with a solution. So it suits you better to do it this way than to try to do it this way, because you've sold this way in the first place to get the meeting. And that's why if we know what it takes and we are certain and we get a decision, we allow the optimists to win. And because we allow the optimists to win, we get a commitment in the moment versus after the moment. And that got us to our 64% close rate. A simple, irresistible offer was made and accepted. It screamed certainty, and it got the optimist to win, because the optimist is going to be the one that brings in the startup, with the unfair advantage, that brings in the startup with the bold ideas, versus the cynic just looking for pain points anyway and trying to control shit. But it is riskier. And so you can overcome the risk of running the offer model by doing two things. By presenting a yes or no conundrum of would you like the dream outcome and is it the right time? People mostly will say, yes, we do want the dream outcome. But with a dysfunctional bureaucracy where not every new thing is the right thing to be doing, sometimes you'll get a no on, is it the right time to do it? Or you might also just get a no on, they still have some doubts, but now you've aired them to the surface, you've named the doubt. You can say, hey, a lot of our customers that are trying to do a bold transformation and to work with us, they do have doubts too. You're more than welcome to speak to them before you make a decision. All of a sudden, you're using a customer to help get the yes or no versus jump ahead and push them into the deal. Now that works some of the time, but what works even better is that you have a try for free offer. So you can go, hey, a lot of our customers aren't ready. So a great way you can try it out is we give you all of the secrets. Here it is. You can access it here. You can have this free product, free service, free framework. It's everything you need to do it without us. Just do it. Here it is. You can try for free tomorrow. It's okay that you're not ready, but you can start. It is really important when you make a try for free offer at this moment is that you recognize that they said they're not ready and you affirm it as a positive thing. And you also affirm it as some people have that problem too, and that is okay. What's also important in your try for free is you don't lock it behind a paywall, overload it with gates that they can't access. It's really important that you put it all out there. Why? It just shows someone that knows what it takes versus someone that's focusing on getting it right and not sure. So you can handle their unsureness with even more certainty with a customer introduction or vetting call, or an even better one is a try for free solution. And you go, hey, try for free. When you're ready, reach back out. Now, another scenario that can happen is that they haven't spent this much on the transformation that you're selling. So they're unsure if you've scoped the price right. And so what is going to happen is they're going to push for a business case. No problem if they push for a business case and they've already said yes on the offer and it's giving you a baseline. So there might be actually more to spend. But let's say that they think that your price is a little high and they're really unsure of all of the risks. Now, in a bigger company, there could be a huge volume of risk that if you build a business case, it might take a significant amount of time. A great way in making sure you get this close rate of 64%, enhancing that close rate when someone is not ready, and it's something to do with the way they're thinking about money all the time and initiative, is that they're ready to actually make the commitment, but they're not sure if the organization is ready to resource it. How we can overcome that is reminding people after the commitment of, hey, we're ready, we're going to commit to doing this. We're just unsure if it's the right time because we don't have the right budget or resources. We don't know what it's going to require. Rather than saying, hey, you're not ready because you might devalue the commitment, just reaffirm a guarantee. So we hear you. A lot of our customers are unsure if we're the right partner. And so it's quite an investment to bring in the right partner on quickly. That's why we offer all of our customers this 30-day back unconditional guarantee. Obviously, the higher the guarantee, the more you're like in terms of days or length for an unconditional guarantee, the more it's going to show that you know what it takes and the more it's going to show that you know you're certain. That type of affirming energy is like, oh, wow, you're taking risk too. We can take risk on our current strategy, budget, and initiatives. We'll go figure it out. That's a huge way of overcoming we're ready, but we're not sure if our shit is in one stock. The second guarantee that you can post, which is they don't know if they're going to hit the KPI in the time that they need it, so they don't know how to brief it, which is the last thing that might say, hey, we're ready and commit to the change, but we're not sure if it's the right time, which is we're not sure when we should present the dream outcome because we're unsure how long it's going to take for us to change, and we don't want to oversell it. Great. What you also want to add to your offer statement when you present it is your service guarantee. A service guarantee is, hey, the dream outcome takes 16 weeks, but even if you don't get there and you keep being a great partner, whatever that is, or whatever you define it is, and you keep trying to overcome and get that transformation happening, we'll keep giving you the service level past that 16-week or time period until we actually hit the dream outcome. Why is that important? People get promoted from working with external vendors delivering transformational results. When they buy stuff, they sort of have to tell people in the bureaucracy when they're going to get the result. So the last step of doubt, even after someone's commit and they're still struggling on the right time, is generally because they don't know when to forecast the result happening. The easiest way that you can overcome that and still be seen as we know what it takes and we are certain is saying, hey, some of our clients have the same issue. That's why we added this service guarantee. If you keep being a great partner, we will keep working until the dream outcome's achieved. And then all of a sudden, they start to relax because they don't have to ask for more money, even if the KPI they've forecasted is a little bit late. And it also gives them a huge vote of confidence that you know what it takes, again, and you are certain. So whenever you get people that are ready to commit to the offer, but they're not sure if it's the right time, and you hear that manar on a call, always have ready a customer that they could be introduced to share their experience. It's generally a bit of a wobbly point there. If they needed a budget and they know how long it's going to take, you can always put them in the try for free to allow them to shake out their doubts, piece together what the service looks like, and understand the value. Just don't hold back any secrets. And last but not least, if they're just a little shaky on how to forecast the result because they're in a bureaucracy and results and forecasts matter, then just add a service guarantee as well. And all of a sudden, we're still keeping our we know what it takes and we are certain without getting into customized proposals and giving us a greatest chance of increasing our close rate and getting a yes or no after we've either qualified the customer and gone deeper and we know what they need, or we've got belief and we're following the counterpart journey and we've got learning and now they're ready to change. Either way, we've now got stronger ways of getting to a commit and handling the wobbly moments versus spending a shitload of time writing pilots that no one reads, that get copped a lot of flack by cynics, and ending up with proof of concepts that don't give you the capital to build your business or a repeatable revenue model that allows you to invest in the things that you need to get it from 6 all the way to 8 figures. So the next time you're sitting there writing a proposal and someone asks for one and you're like, shit, I don't want to write it again, say, hey, all of our customers have to generally make the same decision to get the dream outcome. Here is the dream outcome. Would you like it? Great. We have an offer for that and we have these guarantees. It'll fundamentally increase your close rate and stop you doing needless busy work that cynics are going to take advantage of when you're out of the room. And that's one of the things that got our business really quickly to 8 figures from 6 in 24 months, which was standing our ground, leaning into the uncomfortable, and landing a fantastic offer and completely ignoring our client requests for proposal or quote.